It was revealed in this past March that the QMJHL may ban fighting. Now, a lot of people also were thinking with this news that came out, this probably won't happen. Over the summer, they'll realize they were wrong. Well, it's officially happened. The QMJHL has announced that fighting has been banned this upcoming 2023-2024 season. The rule now states that fighting will result in automatic ejection with other supplemental discipline to follow. Now, I'll also pull up the official rule book here, and you can pause if you want to read this, and I'll also leave it up for a few minutes, just to while I'm talking about this and going over this stuff. And I'll give you a brief summary of basically what it says if you don't want to read it. It's if you fight, you're automatically ejected from the game. As soon as the fight occurs, those engaged systems must systematically be ejected from the game. Any player found to have instigated the fight will receive a 1-game suspension automatically, and the person declared to be the aggressor during the fight will receive a minimum of a 2-game suspension automatically once again. Now, there are also a few more rules here, which I don't have on this little slide here, that go on to say that if you fight a certain amount of times in the year, I think you may get some more extra supplementary discipline. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but those are the rules. Now, I'll say I do understand what they're trying to do basically in this. They're trying to lower the injuries and the medical stuff from the game. Now, we know that this is happening in many sports, hockey, football, for example, all the safety stuff. They're trying to make it safer for everybody. Now, this is I get it. I do get it, but it just don't work. We see in football they're trying to change the kickoff or make it safer. In hockey here, they're trying to take out the fighting to make it safer. Now, it does make sense, but I'll tell you why this is a bad idea. Many of these kids will be going straight from the QMJHL to the NHL to the AHL, a league where fighting is allowed. Now, just say, make a big hit in the QMJHL, they can fight, but they know what the consequences are. They will be suspended for multiple games. Make a hit in the NHL, there's no suspension for fighting. Someone's going to retaliate, you're going to get clocked. That's how it's going to work. It's not going to be good for these kids coming up from the QMJHL straight to the NHL without any fighting experience. I don't know what they expect to do. If they want the players to take boxing classes, MMA classes on their own time, it's not going to work. I'll tell you that right now. This is going to be very dangerous for some kids in the QMJHL going up to the NHL with no fighting experience. One thing I also wanted to think about, I've seen this here, many people also were wondering about this. What about the Memorial Cup? The WHL and the OHL right now do not have a ban on fighting. I'm not saying they won't yet. I hope they don't. It's a big part of the game, and it's dying out, but it's still a big part of the game. You got to learn how to do it, because it's going to happen in the NHL. You may hit someone the wrong way, someone might not like it, someone's going to retaliate, someone's going to go after you. It's the way it works, the way it's always been. Not so much now, but it's the way it's been. So it's just, you gotta learn to fight. It's part of the game. But like I said, the Memorial Cup, this is going to be interesting to see what they're going to choose to do when the QMJHL team will play an OHL team or a WHL team. If they're going to be allowed fighting, or if they're going to ban it in the Memorial Cup as well. Because some players in the WHL and the OHL, they might be, I'll say, a little bit goonish, but, it could be a hit the wrong way. They might not like it and go after a QMJHL guy. Just say it's a rookie in the QMJHL. They won't know how to fight, because there's no fighting in minor hockey in Canada, at least from what I know. But it's going to be a very, very big change to a lot of these QMJHL players heading to the NHL. I think it'll be a big surprise for them, going from no fighting to fighting. It don't happen as much, like I said, but in the QMJHL last year, there was 86 fights. Now, it's been going down ever since 2018-2019, where there was 188. So, like I said, it is dying out, but it's still part of what they're doing. It's still part of an everyday hockey game, and it's going to be a big change that I think a lot of people won't like, especially players as well. You're going to want to... someone hits your teammate the wrong way, you're going to want to get revenge on them, I'll say. Not in any dirty way, not in any stupid way, but a part of a hockey game where it's fighting. That's what you're going to do. Everybody knows that is what your answer is to a hit the wrong way. Now, it's been also in the past few years some clean hits that people just don't like, and they're starting fights that way as well. Yes, I do understand that as well. Like I said, that's what's part of the game. But we're going to see now a lot of people, I think, knowing that fighting is not going to be allowed, and they're going to start to do maybe a few chippy things here. There are a few dirty plays. We've seen this. There's a lot of replies to that tweet that I showed from the QMJHL at the beginning that are saying something like this. This comes from a Twitter user, CR Avery. Can't wait to see those greasy spears and jabs because players can't release some healthy passion. Now, this is very true. I gotta say, this is going to be a big change to what people are going to do. I think you're going to see a lot of more chippy plays, a few more dirty players from players knowing that they can't get any retaliation against them in by way of fighting. They may also get a blindsided hit or something. Now, this is going to bring a lot more, I think, dirty hits, a lot more blindsided hits, stuff like that to the game, which is going to be exactly what they're trying to not, or what they're trying to get rid of in dirty plays in safety by taking away fighting. I think you're going to get a lot more hits and stuff like that people won't like because that you can't fight. You're going to have to find a different way to get back at some players in a way that it just won't be ideal for the game, I'll say. So, like, yeah, it's going to be a big thing that's going to happen, and it's going to be a big change. I'm interested to see what will happen to the OHL and the WHL with these rules, and maybe some other minor hockey leagues like the USHL, depending on what this season is like for the QMJHL, depending on what happens this way. I say a lot of the leagues will follow suit of what the QMJHL is like, what they expect with this news coming out, see how the season goes, and if they like what happens, they might implement the rule themselves. We don't really know what's going to happen yet. We haven't heard anything from the OHL, the WHL, USHL, all the other minor hockey leagues. The BCHL, I'm sure, won't be changing much, but those major junior hockey leagues, we don't really know what's going to happen to them right now. I'd say they're going to be testing the waters with the QMJHL, see how that goes, and they'll go from there. We might find out about that more next offseason, but it is going to be a big change for these players, and I'm interested. I'm not excited. I'm interested to see how it'll work from some players that we'll see next season make that step up to the NHL, to the AHL, where they're going to get surprised. I'll say that. They know that it's a big surprise. And I also expected to see some fights in the WHL, or QMJHL, this season. I think a lot of people will know that you can't do it, but in some circumstances you may have to. You know, like I said, the way that someone might get hit the wrong way, someone might get a very dirty hit, you got to retaliate against that player. Sometimes you might have to take that few game suspension depending on whatever happens. The 1 game for the instigation, the 2 game for the aggressor, and the automatic ejection from the game that you're currently in for the fight. So I'm expected to see a few people fight, like I said. It's going to be interesting to see how many will actually be willing to take that suspension and just accept that what they have to do is what they have to do and take it. But we'll see what the managers, the owners, the GMs, the coaches say about this. We already seen a few coaches come out and say that they absolutely hate the rule, as well as they said that in March when the rule was, I will say, announced, more so when it was just expected to happen. Nobody really likes this rule I've seen from a managerial GM owner standpoint. They know that's part of hockey. They know that they shouldn't really be taken out. A few people like it fan-wise, but it's really just going to be a trial, a test experiment, you know. It's something we're going to have to look at and see what it's like in the season, what people like about it. But we'll have all that next season. You know, there's not much we can say about it right now. They're not going to change this rule before the season starts. So there is just going to be no fighting next year in the QMJHL. Be interesting to see what people respond to that, the players this season, if they know that they can't, if they will, regardless if something happens. But we'll figure that all out at a later date. But that's all we have for this video. If you liked it, make sure to like the video. Also, make sure to subscribe if you do want to see more content from NHL, QMJHL, everything, all leagues around hockey. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see that. I'm signing out. Hope you did like the video. Hope you have your great day. See you later.